What have you got there then? It's Kenwood's TH-D75. That's a blast from the past, a little bit old, that radio. Yeah, but come on, absolute game changer when it came onto the scene. You know, there's nothing else like this around. Really? Speaking of game changers, you need to get with the future. Kenwood's TH-D75, APRS, GPS, etc. Yeah, but surely it's not got more features than this TH-D74. This, you know, this is the game changer. Really, this is the game changer. 2024, get with the future, Tony, come on. This radio here, all of your features, plus many, many more. Let's see what it's got. Hi, welcome to this week's Something for the Weekend. I'm Tony, Sales Manager here at Martin Lynch & Sons. And like I said to the other Tony, let's have a brief overview of Kenwood's TH-D75 and see what the major changes are from the D74 and some of the added benefits that have been included with the latest release from Kenwood. And we've all been waiting for a new radio from Kenwood for quite some time now, and this is the start of it. Yes, I know everyone said, oh, Kenwood's out the running, they don't make radios anymore, etc. As Kenwood's UK distributor, you should always listen to our videos first, because we knew this was coming, and here it is. And there will be some other radios in the lineup too, so keep watching. Anyway, the D75, let's go through some of the key features. To begin with, Kenwood's done their usual little trick of listening to the amateurs, which basically means you spoke, they listened, and the features have arrived. So key feature on this, with it being a D-Star radio, is it actually has simultaneous dual D-Star receive. So that means you can have two different reflectors on your A and your B, and you can listen to both of them. Now, that's a function we haven't seen on other radios before, so that is a huge, huge addition to this TH-D75 and a quick step into 2024 for you. Now, secondary, another new feature on this is the standalone Digipeat function. So if you're into your APRS, etc., you can use this radio as a digi repeater. So it's kind of a lovely, fully functioned handheld, and it's starting to form now as we're going through these additional features. And you'll see why. This is definitely an item you need to add to your shack. So moving on to number 3 is the compass mode on this radio as well. With its fully featured GPS functionality, it basically means that you can transmit your location at the same time as operating. So if you're running APRS or you're running D-Star, all of your location details will be sent on your transmission as well. Moving on to number 4, real-time messaging. So basically real-time messaging between stations running APRS is possible, and means you can do live text messages, for example. Just type in your message, fire it off, and away it goes via RF. So nice and simple, full communication, all from the handheld on APRS. So an additional feature as well, which has been added to the 75, is it's very, very flexible when it comes to voice and data modes. So you can either set it up for simplex, simple repeater mode, and maybe even an inter-repeater gateway. It's entirely up to you, but it is all possible just using the menu system on the TH-D75. Now, moving on, fast data mode for DV or digital voice, that's capable with the TH-D75. DR mode as well for D-Star repeaters, very simple. So basically you can simply press the PTT switch, and in addition to this, it uses icon and voice guides as well to notify you of whether the repeater is going to be accessible. So very, very clever. And you know, if you've seen the reviews on the TH-D74, you're going to know that it's got full listings as well of all of the repeaters using the GPS function. So no matter where you are in the world, as long as you've got GPS lock, you can pop in nearest repeater, I want that one, select it, and away you go. And the same with your hotspot as well. You can add, you know, 3, 4, 5 different hotspots onto this, save all the settings, go into the menu, and again, it will change all of your settings, and you're ready to operate really, really easily. Now, a lot of you are saying, how technical is this radio? You know, I want to know the full functionality of it. Well, you're not going to get that today. Why? Because there's plenty of videos out there already, which we fully back, just for the fact that they've gone into so much detail. So the best ones to watch, I'd say, is have a look at the guys in the States, Ham Radio 2.0, for example, Ham Radio Crash Course. They've really put this radio to the test. They've had it a little bit longer now than the UK, And plus, we'd like to show how easy this radio is to use once you've taken it out the box. So we're going to be doing that in a few moments. But before we get to that, just a quick overview of the coverage of this. So roughly it's around about 0.1 all the way through to 525 megs with it's got a couple of gaps in there. And when it comes to transmissions, it's VHF and UHF, so 2 meters and 70 sems, 5 watts output, and D-Star, of course. So let's take a look at those extra menu functions. Right, so this is how the radio comes, basically, switched off. So let's go from the start. Let's see how easy it is to get things moving, whether we can find stuff on the menus. And yeah, let's just take it nice and slowly and go from there. So taking a look at the radio itself, as you see, nice clear display. As we've mentioned before, the buttons here, where you've got the dual purpose on the buttons, or even, well, triple purpose really, because you've got the numbering on there as well. And yeah, really nice construction, built really well. For those that have asked, yes, it's the same battery as the TH-D75, so you can switch them over if you've got some batteries and you want to part exchange your 74. And what do we have on the side here? So starting here, we've got our speaker and microphone connections, which I'll open up. So there we go. So it's your standard Kenwood 2-pin fitting. And that's nice and easy there. So moving on from there, we've got, I believe, an SD card slot, if I can get it open. There we go. So that's your SD card slot here at the top. And then in addition, again, as I said, Ken would have listened, and there is a USB-C socket on there as well. Now you can either use this to connect it to your PC, and this is one of the amazing additional features, is that the software for the Kenwood TH-D75 is free of charge, and you can connect it to your PC and open up a lot of extra features that way as well. And you can also charge via USB-C. So very, very clever. Yes, you do get a you do get a charging plug within the actual box itself, not a drop-in charger, but a charging plug. Or you can go USB-C. What I will say is make sure you read the instructions when it comes to charging the battery, etc. They do say that you do need to charge it a few times before you start operating. So that's your USB-C socket on the side, and then below is your DC socket, which I mentioned before, for the charger. There we go. Now on the other side, you've got your PTT switch, which is very rugged, and it's quite nice actually. It's quite a hard plastic on the switch, so you do notice the difference between both sides as well if you're operating in the dark. And then you've got your money and squelch button on the side and your power switch. Now on the top, you've got your knob here, which is basically your volume knob on the collar, and then you've got your VFL or multi-change knob on the top as well, and obviously your antenna. So let's get this fired up. As I said, keep it simple. It's Tony doing the operating, so that's why I do it. We're not going to get very technical with this, so let's switch it on, see what functions we've got, what we can notice straight out of the box. So here we go, power up. Nice clear display. Yes, I have put the call sign in already, so I've cheated a little bit, but we need to do that to get some functions working. So here you go. As you can see straight away, we've got a single display up here, and we're operating on VHF, so 2 meters. We've got the day and the date on there as well, and which mode we're using, and the time. So batteries set, battery status on the top there, I should say, which makes it nice and easy. So we've got full functionality on there straight away. Now let's see what we can do, because I'm thinking it says dual here and AB. So I'm thinking if I press that, there we go. We've got a secondary receiving channel, so that is our B channel, and as you can see, that B channel is now receiving HF, I hear you say. So if you don't know about the TH-D74, which was the predecessor to the 75, basically this radio receives all the way through the HF band, and it does it in multi-mode as well. So with this radio, you can literally be listening to the 20 meter band, for example, as we're on here, see what's going on. Oh, the bands are open, quickly rush home and fire up the radio in the shack if need be, or if you're on holiday you can take this, access local repeaters and also listen to HF as well, which is always good fun. What I will say, this is kind of like the original THF7 Kenwood, which I've still got one of those at home, where it's got two antennas. So you may only see one here, but when it comes to HF and medium wave, you can run the bar antenna, which is built inside, and that's changeable through the menu options. So you are covered when it comes to antennas. Obviously on HF, sometimes it's nice to put an adapter on and just run a random wire as well if you're in a hotel. So let's take a look and see the menus, because I can see menu button. Let's try that straight away and go into there. So menu, what have we got? Lovely use of icons, as we've seen from a lot of different manufacturers, nice and clear. So we've got a radio with a cogwheel. So the radio and the cogwheel, I'm kind of thinking, well, that's got to be radio settings. So shall we take a look? So here we go. So we're in, we've got RX, TX, RX filter, scan, repeater, Vox, DTMF, CW, and others as well. That'll be interesting to see what that is. So let's take a quick look. Let's go into RX first of all. So if you use the enter button here in the center, we can program the VFO. We can do beat shift. There's USB out selection as well. FM narrow. There's that medium wave, short wave antenna that I said, which is showing there as bar antenna. And you'll see there's a back and an OK. So if I press here to the right, that's taking me now onto the antenna. So I can either choose the antenna connector at the top or go for the bar antenna. So we go bar antenna, I think, for that. And press OK. And that's done there. Right, let's come out of that, see what we've got on the TX side. So we can, there we go, we can stop it TXing, which is great if you just want to use it as a scanner or receiver, or you're lending it to someone else to listen to stuff. Got a timeout timer. So yes, you know who you are, chin wagging, radio's getting hot, etc. Get this timeout timer set for maybe 2 or 3 minutes and give everyone else a chance to talk. Mic sensitivity, so that's a lovely feature on a handheld. You can select that. So we've got a medium function, high function, and a low function. So we can go back. And yep, that's all our TX ones on there. So let's go back over. Now RX filter. Filter on a handheld. Well, if we click on that, like I said, you can hear HF. And when you're running something like a 590 or an 890, you're often using your filters to make sure you can hear the stations that you're receiving. So here we go. There is an SSB high cut filter. You can adjust the CW width of it as well. There's an AM high cut. And let's click on that and see what we've got option wise. There we go. So that's not bad. So 2.2 kilohertz narrow filter. And we can go up to 3 kilohertz if need be as well on the HF side of things. So let's go back out of that. Now scan. I'm not going to set this scanning because I know what happens when I do that with a radio. I often struggle to get it back, but we'll press it anyway. So it tells you that you can resume every few moments if need be. There's a digital scan as well where it will seek a digital signal and then stop on that. And then you've got to restart as well. So basically how long you're going to be listening to the frequency that you found and the content on that before it goes on again. And then you've got carrier restarts, priority scans, etc. And I can tell you now, I did have a little play with this, as I said earlier, when I put in the call sign, and it's phenomenal. It is basically operating as you'd expect from a normal communications receiver type scanner, and it just flies straight through those frequencies, which is great for listening to repeaters. Right, so we've got repeater function here. Click on that, we can quite easily go into the offsets. So, you know, if you're running UHF, obviously we're stepping up, and VHF stepping down, change all of that here. Auto offset, as you'd get with most of the modern day handhelds nowadays, where you can set it on VHF, UHF, and it would do the automatic split for you. Obviously be aware if you're doing 70sems, it could be slightly different. 1750 tone, you may need it again one day. And then you've got your call keys, etc. as well if need be. Right, so let's go back We've got Vox, self-explanatory, DTMF as well. So if you're using something like an Echolink node, you can put your DTMF codes in there, set the speed that it runs at, whether it holds it on TX. And then we come out, CW, because obviously if you're listening to CW, you can adjust your pitch frequency for 0 beating, and also if you want to do reverse on there as well. Right, so let's see what the others are. It's got a QSO log. Let's switch that on. That's obviously going to come as an additional feature somewhere else. Now I'm wondering if the QSO log, we'll have to check the manual for this obviously, but I'm wondering if the QSO log actually logs your QSOs when you're running digital, because obviously you've got the call signs coming in. So you'd probably have your SD card in and it'll more than likely receive to that. So let's get that switched off because I don't really want that. LED control, so whether it comes on for the RX and whether you have it on for FM radio. So this does have a built-in FM radio as standard, which is that one there, which says FM broadcasting. So that's our radio settings, and let's see what else we've got here. So we've got memory, so let's click on that. So you've got your memory channels, which we don't have any here, so you can view your list, group them as well. So as I was saying, the good thing with this and using it as a scanner or receiver is that you can do banks of frequencies. So you can literally set up, that's my airband frequencies, that's my marine frequencies, name them, and then when you're scanning through, you know exactly what you're looking at and what you're listening to. So that's that. Repeater list, we can view the list of repeaters because it's already saved in here from standard. So as I said, you can click through and we can go to, say, Europe. I want to go to the United Kingdom. I'm in the southeast. Click on that and straight away we've got a list of repeaters, including our own GB3ML on the screen there. And literally you can click on that and it gives you all of the details that you need. So it's giving us the offset, it's telling us the frequency for transmitting on, and longitude and latitude, what time zone it's in, etc. So as I said, absolute game changer. Ever since they started putting that feature into handhelds, it's brilliant because no matter where you are, you can just turn up, make sure you get GPS lock, and start working the local repeater. So call sign list as well. So if you're running different call signs yourself, maybe that you're using a club call sign or you're sharing a radio between friends, you can just do your list on there and all the settings are saved for you. Hotspot list, like I said, 3 or 4 different hotspots at least that you can put on here. So if you've got a hotspot in your car, hotspot at home, again, save the settings for it and just select it and away you go. So everything is done for you. Right, audio files. Like I said, you can put an SD card into the radio, which means you can then record the audio that the radio hears, or you can record your own voice messages as well in order to TX. All right, what do we got here? Digital. Let's see what we've got in the digital one. So we've got an RX history. We can look at that. So that will basically tell us everything that we've heard whilst operating D-Star. So you can see it's quite a few G2ML, GB3ML, and WB4CDH as well. So that's pretty good. Nice to keep a little history of that. TX and RX, where you put all your details in for operating D-Star. And they've got digital squelch as well. And you can select if you want that. So you can have a code squelch, call sign squelch, which is pretty self-explanatory. Okay, let's come out of that. GPS data on your TX. So this is where I was saying, if you pop in your location details into the radio, it will then transmit the GPS data for you. RX notification, you can say how you want it displayed. So this is, I mean, I'd like to show you here, but I haven't got a signal coming through at the moment. But basically on digital mode, when you get a call from another station, it comes up and overlays on top of the frequency that you're looking at. So it will come up and say, this is G2ML, it will give you the name, etc. Whatever details they put in location, if they've got that as well. And it comes up, you can either leave it on the screen while you're working them or just take it off and go back to the frequency screen. But that's a really clever function that it just flashes up for you as well, so you know who's calling. All right, so that's your digital one. Again, DV gateways, etc. Click on that, self-explanatory, you can set up your gateway there and put your details in. And don't forget, look at D-Star info if you're new to D-Star and you want to learn a little bit more on how to do the initial setups. So moving across, APRS. Now, I will hold my hand up and say I've never used APRS before. So I'm going to have a little play with this in the next few weeks and have some fun. But from what I've been told, it is superb on the TH-D75. The Digipeat Function is amazing for APRS, and you can literally put everything in here. Do beacon in straight from the radio. You can have it beacon in whilst listening to digital as well, due to that simultaneous digital receive. And literally, yeah, just click into here. You can change all your, as I said, change your messages on here, put your phrases that you like to use whilst you're beaconing. It can all be done here. As I said, there's plenty of videos available at the moment on YouTube with regards to the APRS functions, because it's another hour or 2 hours on its own. So there we go. There's your Digipeat function, Digirepeater, where you can set up your call sign, etc., and all your aliases. So we will try that one. I think that'd be good fun to try actually in the shop. And we've got others there, which is PC output, voice alerts, and everything else. So clever thing with this that we haven't really gone into detail with is you can use the USB socket, not only for charging, but you can, as I said, connect it to a computer, and you can run band scopes, for example. You can do picture messaging as well. You can do WinLink if you want as well through these. The world is your oyster when it comes to the TH-D75. They've literally thought of everything. So moving across, we've got GPS functions, so your basic settings, which will show you your position, your operating modes, whether you want to save batteries, etc., whether you want to out it to the PC again. Now, you've noticed I've been saying if you want to out it to the PC, if you want to out this to the PC, this mode to the PC, you need to remember to change those settings on the radio. Otherwise, you'll find that you'll plug it in and it doesn't seem to be working. So you can change it to whether it's USB, SD card, etc., or Bluetooth. Moving across, SD card, export, import, fairly simple, memory size, what you've got left, etc., so we can view that. And I don't have a card in, so you're not going to see anything. All right, cross from there into the general settings. So that's the single cog, as you can see here. And you'll see we've got display settings, backlight control, backlight timer. So if we click on that, what I am going to do, because you can see it keeps going dark on me, is I'm going to set it up for 60 seconds and then press OK. So that's now changed to 60 seconds. The brightness of the display, nice and simple. There you go. That's done there. Power on message, ours obviously says ML&S. Single band display or dual. So I can click on that and say, what do I want on there? Do I want my GPS settings? Or do I want the date, etc.? I'm going to go for GPS. So select that. That's now changed. We'll see if that changes when we go back. Meter type as well. Pretty self-explanatory. Background colour from black or white. So select that. We've got whites. Back on. We've got the black. Nice and simple. Okay, audio settings, balance. So it's got a cheeky little function on here, which you can access here, which basically means if I turn this, if I'm running a dual receive, I can turn up the volume of, say, band A, because all of a sudden band A's become interesting, you know. Bob's on the repeater. Oh, I want to listen to Bob actually. But then I've got Jeff as well on HF down below, but he's having a bit of a waffle. So yeah, let's turn up Bob. So you can adjust the balance of what you hear from A to B through the speaker, which is really clever. So that's set there. TX and RX EQ. So another nice feature, obviously Kenwood being Kenwood audio, is you can switch the EQs on no matter to what you're listening to, and also on your transmit audio. Okay, so we come down from there, that's just adjusting your levels. We'll take a quick look, as you can see there. Change the EQ levels. And then obviously you can have your beeps on and off, the volume of the beeps. Now, Kenwood, always been supportive of the visually impaired amateur, and they've absolutely knocked it out of the park with the TH-D75. So I'm going to click on this, which is voice guidance, and I'm going to put it on, let's put it on auto. Pop that on auto, and now we're going to come out of these settings and see what happens. Okay, so that has changed, like we said, and that's given us our GPS settings. I'm going to go on to here, turn the volume up a bit.
5.3125.
Change the frequency. Okay. And change the mode.
FM.
So as you can hear,
DV.
it's now announcing as I make a change throughout the radio. Now you can set this up as a manual, and I believe you can just hold down the power button, I think, to make it announce basically to you, but we can give that a try later. So let's move that along. Let's change that back down to HF.
Single B VFO USB 14.0653.
So absolutely brilliant if you're visually impaired. This is going to be a game changer for you. So let's go back into the menu. Let's change that and turn that off. And we go back to standard. All right, let's turn that down. Okay, so other settings within the general settings menu is the battery. So you can put battery saver on, auto power off as well after a certain amount of time. Check the battery level, nice and simple. Charging as well, whether you want that on or off. Bluetooth, connect to Bluetooth as you would as if you're using a phone, etc. You can either connect, you can do a device search, disconnect, or go into pairing mode, which is normally the easiest way to do it. Auxiliary, so you can set your auxiliary devices on here and what they do. So if you've got a microphone with multifunction buttons on, they can all be done here, and you can set it up to exactly what you want, scan, etc. Date and time, self-explanatory. Lock, what units you want it in, speed and distance, etc. The altitude, what the weather's going to be like, all the rest, temperature. So that's all there for the GPS function. Interface, what your USB is going to do. If you want the PC output going to be GPS, can go out via USB. And this is where I'm saying that when you want to change something, make sure you go into this and set it as you want. So here we go. If we go to DV Gateway, for example, that's coming out of the USB. If I click on it, you can also do that via Bluetooth, which is really clever. So that's that. Now you'll see that KISS function on there. I'm going to let you look into that because that's a keep it simple function basically, and you're going to be very impressed by that. But that, as I said, do a quick YouTube search for that one. I saw a video the other night with that, and it is phenomenal. So, as I said, we're just doing a very easy guide today of just how it is out of the box and whether we can sort of navigate our way around it. So that's your easy functions on there, nice and easy. Let's come out of there by pressing menu. And I'm going to go back to this F button and show you that quickly before we finish. So, as I said, if it's on the top, F button and the blue. If it's on there, you just press it. So, we're doing the F functions here. You've got to always remember to come out of it. It's the thing with a new radio, you've always got to be learning. Now, if you want to do a direct frequency input, just press the enter, and then we can do, I don't know, let's go to 10 meters, for example. Or no, I needed to do one less, 0 for that, so let's try that again. So 0, 28, 500, there we go, we're on that. And we can change the mode now as well, so CW, AM, etc. But yeah, I mean, what more can I say? That's kind of straight out of the box and a quick fiddle as to how easy it is to drive and what features you can see straight off the bat. Right, gonna leave it there, but what I will say is, this is the demo version in the store. If you do want to come down and try it out, you're more than welcome to come down and try it out. Obviously, we've got the D-Star repeater here as well if you want to sort of access a repeater and give it a go. But Kenwood TH-D75 2024, it's definitely a step into the future. And if you want to know more, by all means, please give us a call. See you soon. Oh, as I said, I'm going to have a little bit more of a play with this, but one more thing before I go. Do you want to win a Kenwood cap? One of you could win this cap. All you need to do is leave a comment down below as to what your favourite Kenwood product is, and you'll be entered into the draw. See you soon.